Chapter 7, Expression. Arriving at Alsacia, Mlesi was sitting in front of a fire, before Wanieniekvu could catch his breath. Mlesi said, "For the next 3 days, we will perform the Holy Jeûne." Mlesi then quickly disappeared. Wanieniekvu had seen so much and heard so much that his mind was racing. He took out his notepad and pen and wrote about all the ideas he had. Talking to the trees and animal, the amazing skycraft, and even Canizil who was so profound, he had to write something to remember what had happened to him. He said Alou, God. People. Who is gonna rescue you from the powers to come? When you've been deceived by the tradition of man. Fed to you is self-confidence, not belief in the Almighty. Caught up in a whirlwind of lies, your belief come and goes, in and out, up and down, like wings of a butterfly. Draining the energy of water, whether they're right or wrong, cause you don't have any strength of your own. People. Why is it when you go to worship, you believe in whoever is up front? Never educate yourself. No faith, no strength, no knowledge, no understanding of God. So, you create your own. Man. Life to you has to be hard. Let me tell you something to ease your pain. To you, from me, there's a Trinity. That you might not know of. That you need to see. Goddess order of divinity. Spelled God. Then he wrote, inside of me. Inside of me, there yearn a spirit of righteousness. True enough, I've lied, cheated, and stolen, but never killed. But in my heart, there's compassion to do all that is right. I want to do evil, yes. I want to sin. However, my heart seeks to do otherwise. What is the answer to such a problem? When will I ever solve them? Stop. Just stop, I say to myself. Slow down before I'm lowered to the ground. Search my heart. Reach deep, deep inside this corrupt mind. Hopefully, a solution I'll find. Listen to the word I say. Look at the things I do. Touch that innermost man, and I'll give me the plan. Deeper and deeper, I want. Realizing that every man is not even son. Realizing that there is a difference. Love, not lust. Infinite, not finite. About eternity, not time. Yes, the spirit and not the flesh. At first, he thought it would be hard. You see, then he saw it was no more. But the Christ that lives inside of me. Wanieniekvu slowly closed his notebook with tears in his eyes and looked to heaven, Sabaoth, whatever you have for me and my people, I'm willing and able. Wanieniekvu took out the scroll given to him by Mlesi and started studying his ancestral tree. His eyes became heavy, and he placed all his things in his backpack and drifted off to sleep. Wanieniekvu found himself in a thick wooden forest and saw the animal playing around him. As the squirrels chased each other, he turned to see them run up a tree. Suddenly, he turned and saw that he was amid the desert and saw a rattlesnake litter right by him. He paused and said to himself, "What is this?" A sweet smell in the air awoke him. Wanieniekvu opened his eyes to see Mlesi standing in front of a clay structure that looked like some kind of igloo. Mlesi stood before it and pointed to the entrance. "It is time." Mlesi said. Wanieniekvu approached the structure and entered. Sitting with his leg crossed, Wanieniekvu and Mlesi prayed for an hour afterward. Wanieniekvu spoke that unknown language for a while, and Mlesi said to him, "Time has come for you to feel joy and peace, but afterward fear and pain, but now all you need to make it through this is your faith in Sabaoth." Wanieniekvu started to speak but was interrupted by Mlesi. "These 3 days, you will fast, and the joy of the Lord shall fill your body with a joy you have never experienced before. But know this, after some rest, be prepared to feel fear and pain. Then, you shall go to Talula, and for 90 days, you will experience much fear and pain. These 3 days shall prepare you for that time." Wanieniekvu said with confidence. It is so. After an hour, Wanieniekvu got lighted and took the saw things as the sweat dripped down his face into his eyes. Closing his eyes, he sensed that his grandmother sent to him when they performed Jeûne. He felt air blowing in his face as the heat from the room dissipated. knowing they were enclosed in the structure, et quickly opened his eyes. He was in the ski looking down, seeing the beauty of the trees, rivers, and roadway for miles. Fear covered him, for he had never been this high before, and he was floating. He heard the voice of Mlezi, fear not. He stood there for a while before he tried to move forward. He moved slowly. At first until he realized he could go faster. He flew for miles and saw nothing but the land's beauty, there were no structure, just nature. 4 hours he flew, after building up his confidence, he started turning flip and performing different acrobatic. Hours on end until he came across a deep and wide hole in the middle of a pasture. He flew past it, saying, "Ain't no way, I'm going down there," and bolted for some time until he said to himself, "Sabaoth showed me that for a reason." He flew back. When he got to the entrance, he looked down at it continuously alternated from black to red. He flew downward for a long time and stopped on a section filled with lava and fire, so he landed on the edge. It was hot, and the heat was overbearing, but it didn't phase him. He saw lava everywhere, but it didn't consume him, so he started walking. He heard a noise, fearlessly, he said, "Who is there?" Rising out of the lava was a creature with the head of a hyena, the body of a snake, and talon of a hawk. The beast stood up. "What in the hell are you doing here?" Wanyenye que vu, Afray, said, "I don't know, but I'm getting the hell out of here," and flew to the top of the entrance. As soon as he got to the top, he woke up. He was still in the structure with Mlezi. The sweat burned his eyes and he opened them. Wiping his face, he stated to Mlezi. "I saw a do creature," Mlezi said to Wanyenye que vu. He was there. Thinking Mlezi would tell him more, Mlezi took a cup of herb, placed them on the fire. "These things that you will see are for you, and they will help you later down the road. Let us pray." They prayed for an hour, and Wanyenye que vu closed his eyes and saw darkness had covered him once again. The darkness had covered Wanyenye que vu for a long time until he saw a faint light ahead of him. Walking towards the light, he saw men, women, and children walking with him. The closer he got to the light, the more people were around him. The entire area was covered in darkness, and when they finally reached the light, there was a silver ladder going up toward it. The elderly headed up the ladder first, then the women and children, lastly, the men. Wanyenye que vu started helping people up the ladder before he started climbing it. Wanyenye que vu would often take minutes, even hours, before taking one step up the ladder. The elderly was slowing people down, so the children started going on the opposite side of the ladder to pass them. Otter did the same as the line began to move faster. Wanyenye que vu was relieved. "Excuse me," he repeated as he smiled back at them. Hours had passed, and the ladder seemed endless. Wanyenye que vu sped up his pace, in doing so, he accidentally stepped on old man's hand. He heard a scream that lasted for 5 minutes as the man fell from the ladder before hearing a loud thump. Upset, Wanyenye que vu stopped and cried in pain and anguish over what he had done. Suddenly, he heard the people below him screaming as they fell from the ladder. Looking down, he could see something or someone coming toward him at great speed. It was knocking the people off the ladder. Whatever it was coming too fast. No one recognized what it was as it got closer and closer. It began to purposely knock the people off the ladder in a circular motion around the ladder, moving like a tornado. The scream got closer, and many jumped off the ladder out of fear. To anticipate the object's movement, Wanyenye que vu attempted to avoid the thing by going from one side of the ladder to avoid being knocked off himself when the object got close to him. It stopped in front of him. Wanyenye que vu looked at the creature. A human body which was naked, but without extremities such as a nose and mouth, but had millions of small eyes all over its body, blinking constantly. The demon stopped where it was. It looked into Wanyenye que vu's eyes and growled. Wanyenye que vu was awoken, and there he was, sitting in the structure. Mlezi said to Wanyenye que vu, "It is finished, it's time to finish our journey." Wanyenye que vu said, "Why? It has not even been half a day yet." Mlezi said to Wanyenye que vu, "Oh, but it has, 3 days have passed, and it's about to be a fourth." Your perception of time is not mean as the Torah mentioned, a day could be a 2,000 years, and a 2,000 years could be a day. Wanyenye kvu was in a bit of shock, for et just knew without a doubt it was a same day, bu. Because the structure didn't have windows, et did not know when the sun had risen or set. A Wanyenye kvu exited the structure, it disappeared. There in front of him was a mill dead suddenly appeared. It was a rabbit slowly roasting on a small fire with mixed vegetable simmering in a pot with a small pot of rice next to it. Wanyenye kvu smiled, sabaoth is mighty and wonderful. He had mixed feeling through the day, but now he felt a strong sense of joy, and it consumed him and sat down, et just wrote Petri to explain his pain. Why fast? Why do one need to fast? To loosen the bonds of wickedness. What in the hell does that mean? Then the truth came to me, he saw, yes. He now see, and then he knew. Fasting. It break down the flesh. Much like venom from a snake, that slowly kills the flesh. That proceed with death of that flesh. We are to die so, the spiritual man can rise. Et wrote, been so long. Been so long, since I've seen joy and love. Yes, joy and peace. Been so long since, I've seen, or even felt a spark, until recently, when a spark finally appeared. It came over me, it comforted me. Excitement covered me for so long, a cloud of depression vanished. Frustration. Yes, stress and anxiety covered me for some time. Caught up in a storm of confusion, until I saw a light. It was just ahead of me, I reached for it. It pulled me closer into a mood I've longed for. That brook for a song. I until been so long. Et wrote, sleep. Sleep is where you meet God, sleep is where you meet eternity, learning the meaning of time. Sleep is how your Creator speaks to you, sleep is what you shall do, until the end of time. Sleep is a necessity, like charging your battery. To allow you to make it another day. Things to remember for the rest of your life. You go to work, you have to eat, you have to sleep. Et wrote, dream, fantasy or reality. To be comfortable for the rest of my life. Dream, fantasy, or reality? To be successful. Dream, fantasy, or reality? To enjoy who I am. Dream, fantasy, or reality? To love myself. Dream, fantasy, or reality? To want the best for my family. Dream, fantasy, or reality? To get en education. Dream, fantasy, or reality? To be rich. Dream, fantasy, or reality? For me, all was a fantasy that became dream now, they are all real, reality. Et wrote, fait. I can see it, so how can it be? I can touch it, so is it there? Hearing many say, I don't care. Running everywhere. So many in pain. Man's going insane, depression is a norm, and hope is just a dream. All of a sudden, frustration kick in, and life has no meaning. To those who need it, this 5-letter word. There have been a few who knows the meaning of the word, their life hasn't been the same since. You see, this world at a dreamer, that is what they call them, calling them all sort of names. These dreamers have what they're looking for. This is the reason why they're going insane. The insanity slowly turned to prejudice, then hate. When all they needed was just a little face. Et wrote, sin in skin. This skin amin mak me sin, righteousness, I know not of, how absurd, righteousness is something I never heard of, what is that word? Because this skin only knows sin. Righteousness is sin to the flesh, what a mess, I do things, that I should not do, things I should not do, guess what? I do. Now, there's a few of you who say they can do without sin. Who are you? Angel? For who has deceived you? Appreciate? If so, et or she shall receive their just due. A for you, if you got skin, you got sin. There is sin in skin, one trick to skin, one trick to life, sin has a weakness in skin, some call it flesh, it can stop sin, but it can save a soul from hell, if you give in according to the supreme sacrifice. Nothing you do physically, no hard work involved, hoping for something that is invisible is a clue, the only thing that can help me and you. Fait. So easy, but so many make it so hard but that is a secret, please pass it on. If someone tell you, he ain't got no sin. Walk up nicely, being polite and whisper softly interior, say, excuse me, my friend, buzer sininska. Then finally, he wrote. Sabaoth. Knowing the pain, et sans someone to you, who has been through the same. He had no other choice, but to understand. Reason being, he cared for you. Talking to those, who always seem to be depressed. You act as if you are the only one, and that there's no one else. No job, no career, or got a job, got a career and still depressed. Always staring up into the sphere, looking for help that is near. It seems like a mess, a test. You say, it's no way out. I'm here for you, cause this is the grief. The unbelief, the pain, the strain. But hold on, be strong. There's a gift at the end of this thing. Together we can make it, together you can take it. Alone, you might go insane. Just call my name. Sommetim, you result in crime, thinking it's the way. Sommetim y agree, sommetim y disagree. Crime isn't always me, but sommetim in jai is where I need you to be. Like playing any kind of game, learn the rule to win. Learn the rule to understand. You are beautiful people that he made. There's someone who doesn't want you to achieve anything. Please, remember the pain, so we can become a one. Don't want you to be lost from your creator, he paid the cost. It's me, Sabaoth.